Today we are going to do the full stitch. So now I didn't put a stitch marker in this, but it's a good idea to put a stitch marker in the end of your work, otherwise it comes unraveled. And generally I would stitch it down. I would put a stitch marker through one of the stitches down here so it doesn't get lost and pulled through. And you'll notice that I changed colors with this because I'd finished with this. There was only a little bit left. So what I do when I pick up a new color, you could use the magic knot if you want to, but I chose not to. I just picked up the new color and started picking up my stitches with it. And then I tied it together in the back with the old stitch color so that I can weave those in later. And that is one way you can change your yarn color. Just one of the many ways. All right, let's get into the stitch. The stitch is a 2-row repeat, like I said, and it's a fairly easy stitch to do. Get that straightened up a little bit. Normally, we've gone in, we've picked up the loops here for the simple stitch here. We've also gone in between the first and the second leg here in the front for the knit stitch. Okay, this one we are actually going to go in between those stitches in that space right between. That's where you'll pick up your stitches for the full stitch, in between the two stitches and under the top bar. All right, now the first row, you'll go in between the first and the second stitch. You'll pick up a stitch. You'll pick up a stitch all the way across. Oh, Lord, that's going to drive me crazy. Sorry about that. You'll pick up between the stitches all the way across. Until you get to this last stitch. Now you will not go in between these two, but you'll simply go through the last two to make that nice end stitch. Then you'll chain 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Your return pass is exactly the same. Okay? Now, instead of going between the first two, the second row goes in between the second and third stitch. And you'll pick up those loops under the bar, in between the stitches. Now this one, boy, you can tell I have cats. This one you will pick up in between that last stitch and that next to the last stitch. You'll pick up a bar and then you will go through those two on the end. Yarn over, pull through. And get some more yarn. Then you're going to chain 1, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 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 yarn over, pull through 2. And that is what creates that full stitch. Now, the way that I always remember it is all the uneven numbers are going to go start in that between 1 and 2. In between. In between the 2 stitches under the bar. This is the part that's considered the bar right here. Now, we went through that first stitch, so we don't go through the next to the last and last one, but we will go through the 2 on the end, pick up our stitch, our loop, then yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across. Let me get some more yarn here. Yarn over, pull through 2, 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 yarn over, pull through 2. Oh, I got a knot. And now we're going to start that second row of the second row repeat. Remember, we're going to go through the second and third between those 2 stitches. Pick up our loop, pick up the loop, and remember, all even numbers will go through the last, in between that last one and those chain 2, and then you'll pick up the 2, then yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across to the end. Like I said, return pass is the same. Now, what you need to remember is all unevens will go through the first and second under that bar, and pick up each loop until you get to this one, and you will skip it and then go into the last 2 on the end. You're going to repeat that, and then you'll do row 2, which goes between the second and third stitch, and then you'll pick up your loops under the bars. Just the easiest way to remember is if you need to, pull those stitches apart. You're not going in between the 2 legs, you're going to go in between the 2 stitches themselves. All uneven, like I said, will go through the first 2, and then even rows will go through this row. Now, when you get to the end, if you have problems trying to figure out where you started, one of the things you can look at is you can see this right here, you've got a stitch here. So you're going to repeat that. That lets you know you ended on an even row. So let's do another uneven row so you can see what I mean when we come back to that second row. In between the 2 stitches under the bar. This is an uneven row, so we'll go right into that last 2. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, 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 yarn over, pull through 2. Now, when you get down to this one, you'll see we started on the uneven row, so we've got a stitch right next to that. So we'll know that we'll go into this second row here. So we know that we just did an uneven row because it's right next to the very end. Now, the reason that you want to continue to do that going through the 2 at the end is it creates this nice border that you can use to join rows together, join pieces together. You can do the mattress stitch very easily through this, but that's why we go through that last 2 on an end. All right, I hope that made sense to you. Continue to practice the full stitch. You might want to mix up your stitches. If you want to practice more for the Tunisian, like I said, this is simply a practice piece. I would suggest maybe on the next row, instead of doing the full stitch, after you've got your full stitches done, you can see the kind of fabric that it creates. It's nice fabric. I would suggest maybe doing a knit row all the way across. Just to give it a little bit of a border. Or you could do a purl row. You've learned quite a few stitches. So I would suggest maybe on the next row, you'll go in and do a knit stitch, and then do a purl stitch for the next stitch. Every other stitch, do a purl stitch. Knit, then purl, oops, getting stuck. Keep seeing what I'm doing with that purl. You want to get that back towards the back where it's back this way, your yarn. And then last one purl. Pick up that last two. Turn over, pull through one, pull through two. Now normally if you were knitting, you would turn your work and then you would start with what? Something different. But in order to see your ribbing, you might want to, because that's what you're doing here, is do another row, couple rows, knit here, followed by a purl. Okay, my battery died, but what I was telling you to do was to do a knit and then a purl. Go back. What I was telling you to do was to do a knit, then a purl, do a couple rows, knit, knit, then a purl, bring that in front. Remember to keep it to the back for your knit stitch. You see I keep fighting with that. And then purl, then knit, then a purl, and then through the two at the end. Yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two, 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 all the way across to your end. And repeat that across, and what you're going to see is you're going to start getting a ribbing effect. This is where you want to learn to start playing with those stitches and see what can happen. Like I said, yarn over, pull through one, then purl your next stitch. knit the next one, purl the next, knit the next, purl the next stitch, knit the next, then purl, then at your end, go through that last two, yarn over, pull through one, and your return pass is like normal. And what you'll see is you're going to start having that ribbing effect. So you can mimic a lot of knit stitches with Tunisian. Okay, that is it for today's Tunisian Tuesday. You see we've got a lot of full stitches here, and then we've got a little bit of ribbon up here. And yeah, but you'll also notice how this is going. See how we go in and out. You're going to see that with this test piece, with this sampler. But when we get to the end and we put a border on it, we're going to learn how to fill those in, fill all in the dips and things to make it look fairly even at the very end. That is part of the process of also learning, if you are given someone's pieces at the end, how you can fix that without having to rip it apart and start all over. As you know, with the prayer shawl ministry, many times I was given things that the edges were like this. So instead of ripping it apart, I learned basically how to fill those stitches in to bring them up to the same level. That's what we're going to do next time. That's what we'll do, not next time. That is what we're going to do when we get to the end and we do put our border on our piece. Next week, we are going to learn the modified Tunisian simple stitch, or it's modified Tunisian simple stitch, yeah. But then we are going to learn some patterning with these stitches. You do have the basics for most of these stitches. We will learn some more stitches along the way. But the next week, we're going to concentrate on the honeycomb stitch. Now, the honeycomb stitch does look like a honeycomb. However, honeycomb stitch in Tunisian is many stitches, creating different types of fabric. It's to give you an idea of the different ways the honeycombs look in the true sense of a bee's honeycomb. Sometimes it's jumbled mess. Sometimes you get those nice little hexagons that most of us think of as honeycomb. But we're going to learn that stitch. You do have the basics to start learning that, to start using combination stitches, and we're going to start that next week. So I hope I'll see you then. Like I said, play, have a little bit of fun with your work, and don't sweat it. Things are going to be okay. It'll be all right at the end. Besides, if you don't like it, you can always rip it out, right? All right, guys. Remember, don't be so hard on yourself. Be a little kinder to yourself this week. For those of you that have been following me on Facebook about my issue with my car, yes, I did get the car started. Could not find anyone to come jump start it. There was a company that does jump start, but they charge $198 to do that. And a tow truck to take it to the garage would be $250. So I had a friend take me to Walmart and I bought a $50 battery charger because I felt sure the reason the battery was dead was user error. And it was indeed, because once it got charged enough for me to get in and test it, I had left the dome light on the inside of the car on. searching for something in the car. So, user error, but you know, it was a little cheaper this way. My sister did give me the name of a brand on Amazon that runs about $140 to $189, I think, depending on the features of it. It's called a Halo, but this Halo is great for women who might be in a car stuck alone. It does give you the opportunity if your tire is low, you can use it to blow up your tire. It does have that, gives you air pressure, all kinds of things, reconditioning the battery and everything. That's on my list to get next. But I do have a charger now, and yeah, everything's fine as far as the car is. All right, guys, I'll see you again next week. Everybody have a great week. Bye.